All right, welcome back to On Air BNB Football. This is with Bryce and Brandon and Bryce. Today we're bringing you our top 12 way too early bold takes for the 2024 season.
Let's get it.
Yeah. Before you start,
All right.
I would like to mention that I forgot to mention this in the last two videos that we spoke in. And I would like to say that the end goal for our channel is to actually, talk to fans, but players and coaches mainly, interviewing or just sitting down talking to them, getting their thoughts about football, about the season, the off season, whatever it is. We want to talk to those guys. So with that said, help us out, like, sub, share, everything. With that, Bryce, go ahead, give us our first one.
Alrighty. So my first one, it is Caleb Williams taking the Bears to the playoffs this year. So, some people don't like Caleb Williams, some people do,
I feel like the majority do.
So, people just don't like his antics and like what he
Right,
did in college and all that stuff. But from a play style, I think he's going to be really good. And the Bears brought in a lot of pieces this year to make that offense good. Defense is still a little iffy. They can probably get.
They built their team. I mean,
Yeah. So I think with that offense, with the weapons he has, Keenan Allen, DJ Moore, Swift, everybody stays healthy. Williams plays good. Bears make the playoffs. Beat the Packers in the North.
I get that. Look, but this is the only thing I have to combat that is, like I spoke about in the last video about how rookie quarterbacks don't support 1,000-yard receivers.
No, yeah, you're right.
I mean, I think that goes into it. Keenan
Oh,
Allen,
yeah, for sure.
DJ Moore, they're not going to be as great as you think of an offense. They look like a great offense, but you never know.
Yeah, you're right.
We'll see.
Yeah.
I like the take,
Mhm.
but me personally, I don't think they're making the playoffs. I think they'll come up just short. They'll get probably about 8 wins.
Yeah. See that, but
Packers taking that division with Jordan Love. So number 2, I'll stick with the rookies. I got Drake May. He's gonna be a flop in the NFL. I'm sorry to tell you. I'm sorry. Not really. But he's gonna flop in the NFL. You look at the past UNC quarterbacks. Bryce, you want to tell me who the last 2 were?
Last one was Sam Howell.
And the one before that?
Mitch Trubisky.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that says enough about UNC quarterbacks. Drake May, he had his high points in college. That's why he's being talked about as the number 2 overall pick. But, it's just my opinion.
Yeah.
Drake May flopping.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I mean, I don't hate the take. As you stated, UNC quarterbacks don't come out as well. It might be because they play in the ACC, not too great of competition. You have Florida State, who's good, but they're not great every year like Alabama, Georgia, all of them. So maybe that's why they look so good, because the ACC doesn't have as good as competition as the SEC, the Big Ten and stuff. So I mean, you may have a point there. I mean, we're not going to know. And
I think I'm getting him on board.
I mean, we gotta wait and see. But I think it also depends where he goes. I don't think.
I agree. Landing spot is a
Yeah,
lot of it.
and I mean, if he doesn't start right away, he does start right away. I mean, if he goes to Washington, he's gonna get thrown right into the fire.
Maybe they'll roll with Mariota. You never know.
Who knows? Yeah, I mean, you gotta wait to see, I guess.
Yeah, you're right. All right. Give me our third take then, Bryce.
Third take is that the Jets win the AFC East.
I feel like that was said a lot last season too.
Not the Dolphins. The Jets win it. As long as they stay healthy. I know you're a big Breece Hall guy.
Huge Breece Hall. Dude, let me put on the side real quick. I wanted to include this in my bold takes. Breece Hall is going to lead the league in rushing over Christian McCaffrey, Kyren Williams, Derrick Henry, Saquon, everybody. I'm telling you right now. Watch it. Pin that. Chat pin that.
I may have a take that.
We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it.
May have a little dispute with you there. But no, I think they win the AFC East, staying healthy. I think they are the best overall team in that division. You of course have the Bills, the Dolphins.
Well, especially after the Bills moves.
Yeah.
I like your take a lot. They got Mike Williams.
Great defense too.
Great defense.
Amazing defense.
They obviously have Garrett Wilson coming back with Rodgers finally. Hopefully he doesn't
stay healthy. Yeah.
But
good to see that offense finally in full.
I actually don't hate that take. I would probably make it my own, but I'll let Bryce have that
Thank
one.
you. Thank you so much. What's your next one over there?
So my next one is, I'm going to say something that y'all aren't going to like. Well, this guy is actually sponsored by a future hopeful sponsor for us because we both use this Dr. Squatch soap. I don't know if you've heard of it. But Justin Herbert, the man, is sponsored by it. I love Justin Herbert, but I'm going to say that he doesn't throw for 4,000 yards a season. All the great quarterbacks, I feel like, in the NFL, they throw 4,000 yards a year. That's how it goes. But I do think Justin Herbert's great, but I'm going to just say that because he got Jim Harbaugh, one of the runningest coaches, and Greg Roman, another one of the runningest OCs. We saw it with Lamar in that offense. We saw the running with Jim Harbaugh in his Michigan offense. I mean, they have Gus Edwards. They don't have a lot of great running backs right now, but they also have nobody to throw to. They have Quentin Johnston, which is a TCU receiver. Josh Palmer. Okay. I mean, past TCU receivers, they're looking like guys like Josh Doxson. We know him. Jason Tucker, Philip Epps, Jeremy Curley, and Mike Renfro. Now, if any of y'all can tell me who those guys are.
And those are the best 5 that came out of TCU.
Yeah,
those are the best 5 careers.
Exactly. So, point done, point set. That's all I got to say.
All right. I mean, I don't hate it. I mean, right now they have no one to throw to.
Exactly. He can't throw to himself every play.
You got to think they go to the draft now because they get rid of Keenan Allen. You got to think it's
got to be Malik Neighbors.
Yeah, I don't think Marvin Harrison falls to them.
No way.
I mean, unless they trade up. But I mean, I would love to see Marvin Harrison and Justin Herbert go together. But I mean, they really don't.
Not me.
I know you wouldn't. But I would. I mean, I don't hate to take that. Justin Herbert's still a good enough quarterback that he'll get his yards. I think
he can overcome it. I
don't know.
If we're making bold takes, I think.
Yeah, I mean, hey, it's pretty bold. Maybe Quentin Johnston has a little break. That's TCU's brush receivers.
Give me your next one, Bryce.
So my next bold take, I have the Rams. First off, the Rams winning their division. Okay. And they're gonna meet the Lions in the NFC Championship game.
What's the bold take? Is it what's your take? Is it that the Rams are winning the division, or is it that the Rams are going to meet the Lions in the both of them? Okay.
Combined in there.
Okay.
Winning the division.
So you think without Aaron Donald they're gonna win the division and go to the
title game? Of course I thought about that too. But that offense, when you look at the other teams in that division, you have the 49ers, they can beat the 49ers.
They can.
They can definitely beat the 49ers. Just because they're an in-division team and just they've proven every year that it's going to be a close game no matter what. But that offense, Kupp's got to stay healthy, of course. It's been rough for him the past 2 years. But Stafford showed he still has it last year. Nacua is gonna be probably a top 10 receiver this year.
Do you think that they officially move Puka into the number 1 role and keep Kupp as the 2?
I don't think you can yet, just because Kupp creates so much attention still. And he is just so good, such a good route runner, all that.
He's hurt so often, though.
He is. No, you're right. But I think that they have the best 1-2 receiver core in the league. And I mean, Tutu Atwell isn't a bad number 3 also.
Yeah.
So I mean, they have, and then you got Kyron Williams back there running the ball, 1,000-yard rusher last year.
They have DeMarcus Robinson that they re-signed too.
That's true too. But I do think that offense can score with anybody, and it's bold takes, like we said.
Yeah, I get it.
And that'd be a good. I think that'd be a really good NFC Championship game.
I mean,
it was a good game. It was a really good playoff game last year.
We saw it in the playoffs already, and we all loved it. It lived up to the hype.
Yeah.
Not a lot of games do anymore, I feel like.
No.
But that game lived up to the hype.
Yeah.
And to see them in a title game battle it out, I mean, I think it may go the other way around this time, and Stafford goes back to the Super Bowl if that happens. If what you're saying happens, I think Stafford wins that.
Yeah.
But that actually is a great segue into my next take. Because we're going to keep it in division. And we're going to say the 49ers are not making the playoffs. Okay?
I don't know about that.
Super Bowl hangover. Now, we talk about the 49ers and Chiefs the last time they played in the Super Bowl in 2020. The Niners, I believe, went 10-7. and they ended up losing the title game to the Rams. And the Rams went to the Super Bowl, won it. We all know that. But I'm going to say that the 49ers are out on the Super Bowl hangover, and in their place, the winners of the division is going to be the Cardinals. I like Bryce, wanted to say that the Rams were going to, but then I remember that Aaron Donald's not there, and that's like a huge piece of their team. He's the name that you think of when you think of the Rams. So with him gone, Cardinals take it. They got Kyler Murray there. He's back and healthy. I was huge on Michael Wilson, that late round rookie that came in last year. And then also they are probably going to get Marvin Harrison, who we all know is a generational talent at receiver. His dad was, and he's going to be just like him. So
maybe not, maybe better.
Maybe better. We'll
better
see.
prospect.
That's a lot to live up to.
It is. You know, it definitely is.
But I really like the Cardinals for that division.
I don't hate it. They have some pieces. If they do get Marvin Harrison Jr., I think that's a huge weapon.
They cannot trade that pick away.
Kyler's got to stay healthy. The running game is there with James Conner. It is, but that's also got to stay healthy.
Right. They'll draft somebody. Probably.
Yeah, I don't mind it. I still think Rams are winning that division.
I'm not completely opposed to that.
I mean, that division, that's another really good division that's up for grabs.
And, I mean, even if you think about it, there's been multiple teams in the past that have had, like, a huge offense and not, had a defense worth anything. My Chiefs did it. So, we've seen in the past it happen. So, it's not impossible.
No.
I like the take. Give me your next one, Bryce.
My next take is C.J. Stroud winning MVP, which may not be bold.
It's bold in a way,
but it's bold. It's way too early.
It's bold to predict anybody to be MVP.
Yeah, it is. No, you're not wrong there. But with that, they also go to the AFC Championship game.
Okay.
So that's a little added on to the bold there.
So then I'm guessing you have the Chiefs in the AFC Championship.
I do not.
You're wrong for that.
No, they're not going this year. There's way too much to get out of the AFC this year.
That's what we said last year.
Yeah, but it's not happening this year.
Okay.
Anyway,
I love that take.
Yeah,
100%. I love that take so much that I already placed a bet on FanDuel to.
Again, not another sponsor, but can be.
But I did place a bet for CJ Stroud to be MVP. $20 wins me like 400, I think.
I haven't placed that yet, but probably will.
So, I mean, it's crazy odds, and that is a crazy talented player who, let's not forget, he has Bobby Slowick back. He didn't get a head coaching job, which he should have. And if you look at quarterbacks who have not had a coaching change in the next season in their sophomore year, you're looking at quarterbacks like Carson Wentz in his best season, Jameis Winston, Dak Prescott, Teddy Bridgewater, Deshaun Watson, Russell Wilson, Cam Newton, Andy Dalton, RG3, Matt Ryan, and Joe Flacco. And if those names don't entice you enough, CJ Stroud should. We all saw how he looked last season. That dude's a dog.
Mm-hmm. And he had a better season than any of those rookie quarterbacks did.
I'm telling you, as a Chiefs fan, he looked like Patrick Mahomes when he first came in. I love CJ Stroud, and I love your MVP pick.
Thank you.
That's fantastic. And with that said, my MVP is going to be Anthony Richardson.
Oh, okay. All right. So you have a boy.
Right.
Take, but you picked
exactly. So I bet on CJ Stroud because I'm gonna put my money where my mouth is. But I'm also gonna say, just to be a little different than Bryce, I'm gonna say Anthony Richardson. We all saw his talent last year for the 4 games that he played.
Big. His upside is
dude. I mean,
potential.
He's like a bigger Lamar, bigger Cam Newton, and those guys in their peak, they won MVP.
Yeah.
So that guy, if he can, he can be inconsistent at times. We've seen it. But he can also be really good. He's elite
strong
if
arm.
He can be consistent.
Yeah.
And their head coach.
Who is their coach?
I don't know, but either way, they re-signed Michael Pittman. They got a lot of good weapons. Jonathan Taylor's back and healthy. They lost Zach Moss, but obviously not a big piece in that offense as long as Jonathan Taylor stays healthy.
Yeah. Well, I don't think they had Taylor while he was really there.
They didn't.
Because
Zach Moss was in.
Taylor wasn't there, and then
so when you put the offense all together. I don't know. I think second year Anthony Richardson just gonna go crazy. I love the dude. Love him for fantasy. Love him for the Colts in general.
Yeah, I don't think next year is gonna be his year, of course, but I think definitely down the line he could be a future MVP.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, he could be a good candidate next year.
It can go any way for the
No.
rookies,
Oh yeah,
for the previous rookies.
yeah. I mean, second year quarterbacks have. I mean, we have who's their offense coordinator?
Jim Bob Cooter.
Bob Cooter, baby.
Jim
Yeah.
Bob Cooter.
So, I mean,
Let's show a round of applause for Jim
Jim
Bob
Bob
Cooter in the
Cooter.
audience, please. You gotta
Love you,
hate
Jim
your
Bob.
son to name him that. Maybe we'll interview you one day, Jim.
Love to. Mr. Cooter.
All right, Bryce. Give me your ninth one.
So my ninth one is Justin Jefferson will not be a Viking by next season's trade deadline. I don't think he'll be a Viking before the season starts.
You're falling into the rumor trap.
I am, but he didn't sign a $30+ million extension in the offseason. They don't have a quarterback right now to throw him the ball. They have Sam Darnold. Who knows if he'll get him the ball? But
Colin
they're
Cowherd
going to
likes
draft
him.
one, of course. But, I mean, didn't sign that extension. There's a bunch of rumors going around. Could get a bunch of trade capital for him right now. They could end up with 2 first-rounders. They could get 2 first-rounders probably for him.
If
But
they trade Justin Jefferson away, they will be one of the worst teams in the league.
Yeah, but
he is the core.
He is.
You got to build around him. You got to build around him like he's a quarterback.
Yeah, but when you don't have a quarterback throwing you the ball,
that's the equivalent to trading away Randy Moss in his prime.
Yeah, but he
looked good afterwards.
Yeah.
That's the whole point. Justin Jefferson's still going to be good.
He's going to be good, but
he's going to be good with Sam Darnold throwing it to him, Nick Mullins,
be good. Russell Wilson throwing him the ball.
I'm telling you, Justin Jefferson, I don't know. I don't think that he will be traded. I think it'll come close. There's going to be a lot of rumors, especially around the trade deadline.
There is right now, yeah.
Because I feel like we're going to get through into the season, and then there's going to be a lot more rumors around the trade deadline, and that's what we're going to see.
Yeah, there always is.
Yeah, so I think ultimately he does stay in Minnesota. Just give him half the season to see. Sam Darnold's going to be decent for him. He's going to end up starting the season, I feel like.
Yeah, I think he definitely should, even if they bring a quarterback in.
So I think he'll realize it's not so bad. He's still going to get his targets, his receptions, his yards, everything.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit less, but it's a new quarterback. You got to give it some time. You are going to like my take. This is going to be your favorite take of all time.
Probably. Let me hear it.
I hate saying this because growing up I hated this team.
Because they're winners.
The Pittsburgh Steelers are going to win the AFC North.
Yes, they are.
No Kenny Pickett. No Mason Rudolph. Instead, you got Mr. Unlimited. Russell Wilson, Steelers country.
Let's ride.
But even without Russell Wilson, if Russell Wilson goes down or they decide to go in a different direction with him mid-season, and they want to start Justin Fields, who should be a starter for one of the other 10 teams that need a quarterback, then, that should be very sufficient.
Yeah, we're set up well.
They got Patrick Queen in case, TJ Watt goes down. You might have a chance at winning a game.
I mean, hey, won in like 10 or 11 without him, but I mean, hey, we're good now.
I'm just saying, yeah, I really like the Steelers. They've always been a very consistent team under Tomlin, especially, and as they've been consistent enough when they had Duck Hodges at quarterback, they won games. They almost went to the playoffs, whatever it may be. All they needed was a reliable quarterback who's at least just consistent, like a Jimmy G type. Yeah. And that's what they got now. They got Russell Wilson, and then if they don't have one, then they got Justin Fields.
Mm-hmm.
So with that said, that's enough. They're a winning team. They're gonna find a way to win, and they're gonna win the division. No Bengals, no Ravens, no Browns. The Steelers.
I like it.
I hate that I just said that.
I love that you just said that. But yeah, I have high hopes this season. As a Steelers fan, I'm excited that Russell Wilson is coming. Some Steelers fans aren't happy about it, but you won with Kenny Pickett. You win with whatever quarterback you have there. Now that you have a stable veteran quarterback, especially with an offensive coordinator like Arthur Smith, which I thought that's what I said to you is with that offensive coordinator, you can't have a rookie, like a young quarterback with him. You have to have a veteran quarterback.
Right. And he worked really well in Tennessee when he was the OC. He not
Yeah.
so much as a head coach, but I love that Arthur Smith move. I know you didn't like it at first. I don't know where you're
Yeah.
at with it now.
I'm better with it with a veteran quarterback, especially,
right.
and that we want to run the football. So that takes it out of Russ's hands a little bit. Run the football. Russ doesn't have to do
And
it
he
as
got
much.
2 backs.
Yeah, and then you get Justin Fields for the future.
Right.
Which is, I mean, if something does happen to Russ, you have a reliable backup there. Which again, one with Kenny Pickett, one with all those other quarterbacks.
Perfect.
So, we have 2 solid quarterbacks now.
Right. Yep.
So, yeah.
Yeah, man. Give me your next take.
So, I have Saquon Barkley getting 2K.
Yeah, you mentioned that in the last episode. What's your reasoning behind this? I mean, there's no Jason Kelsey, so
There
you
is.
gotta have something.
No, yeah.
something.
So, I mean, that offensive line's still really good.
Okay.
It's still a very good offensive line. You're, of course, going to have to find a center. They want to take the ball out of Jalen Hurts' hands a little bit. Keep him healthy, of course. Saquon is a very good back. In New York, he didn't have an offensive line at all. You go from one of the worst offensive lines in football to one of the best offensive lines in football. Saquon is so explosive.
Yeah.
Can break a long run anytime. So,
dude, I mean,
bold take.
I'm the biggest Saquon fan that isn't a Penn State fan or a Giants fan, or I guess now Eagles. But
yeah,
I love the take. I think that he's going to be one of the best backs in the league. I just don't know about 2,000 yards because even Derrick Henry struggled to reach that.
Yeah.
Derrick Henry, as dominant as the King was, he struggled to reach that. So if he stays healthy and the line is as good as it was and, the offense flows the way it should through Saquon, I agree with that. I just feel like they might have too many weapons there to abuse Saquon in the backfield. They got A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith. I'm sure they got some other great depth there. But yeah, I like the take. Just overall, I feel like there might be a little bit too many weapons for them to break that.
Yeah.
But my final take is questionable.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna be made fun of. I'm just gonna get it out. I'm gonna say that the Panthers, they're not gonna win the division. They're just going to sneak into the playoffs. So hear me out. The reason I say this, I think I spoke about it in our very first video, how there's a guy named Dave Canales, who I believe is now their head coach. And he used to be the OC in Seattle when Geno had his coming out season 2 years ago, where he had a great season and took them to the playoffs. Geno Smith, remember who that is. He's a career backup who just happened to look good when Dave Canales was there. Mm-hmm. And if that's not enough for you, let's go over to Tampa Bay last season, where he mentored Baker and took them pretty. I think they won a playoff game, yeah. And then they should have almost at least won another playoff game against the Lions.
Mm-hmm.
So Dave Canales is no slouch. When you put him with that, this is the perfect hire. It's the best hire of the offseason for coaching candidates in the sense of David Tepper and the Panthers were struggling to find a steady head coach, and they got one. Dave Canales is going to help out Bryce Young, and they're just going to make the playoffs. They're going to sneak in. They might have like a 9-win season, but it's going to happen. I believe that in my heart. It's not for clicks. I'm very serious about this.
So you got the Cardinals and Panthers going.
Hey, I think I mentioned in the last video too. There's always a team. I think it's like the past 10 years that there's been a team that's drafting in the top 8 teams that makes the playoffs the following season. Now there's the Falcons in there too, so they're probably going to make the playoffs as well.
Yeah.
But Panthers and Cardinals, I'm telling you.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm telling you.
I don't know if they make the playoffs. It's good. I think they'll get better. I think Bryce Young will have a better season. He'll develop under,
Yeah, they got Deontay now.
They got Deontay. He's a solid receiver. Got some solid receivers there. I don't see them making the playoffs. I mean, you got Tampa in the division. You got
I'm going strictly
Atlanta.
off Canales, pretty much.
Now, yeah, I mean that's a good take. That's a good point too that you made.
I'm not just having an idiotic episode where I'm just shooting
Panthers
whatever
make the
off the
playoffs.
top of my head. there's reasoning behind it.
Yeah, that was a good point you made. Definitely, but I mean, we'll just have to see.
Yeah, we'll see. But I mean, with that said, that is our 12 way too early bold takes for the 2024 season. Please, guys, don't forget to like, sub, share, comment what you want to see for future videos, and just help us out. Help us reach that goal where we can, interview players and coaches, and we'll even interview the fans. Everything. We got big plans for the future. So,
We do.
help us out, guys, and thank you.
Bang!